Now that we are officially into spring, many in the Northwoods are preparing for the summer. Raking yards, planting the garden, and getting the pier into the water, and of course splitting some firewood.
These activities can be the cause of some shoulder pain and injuries, and here to tell us a bit more about protecting our shoulders and clues that something may be wrong is Nurse Christina Paris from the VA.
Hi, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So today we're going to talk about 3 types of shoulder injuries, the top 3. Impingement, is that how you pronounce
Correct.
it? Mm-hmm. Frozen shoulder, and then rotator cuff injuries. So we'll start with the shoulder impingement. How does that occur? What are the symptoms?
So the shoulder itself is the most, it has the most mobility of any joint we have in our body.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we're getting calls now, about shoulder injuries. We're back into the construction, back into doing that type of work. So when you talk about impingement, it's when the different parts, the muscles, the tendons, and the bursa can get kind of squeezed between the bones. Mm-hmm. And so that can cause some pain. And where you're gonna see pain mostly with impingement is gonna be in the front part of your shoulder. And it's from lifting things, and so you're gonna feel pain there, or reaching behind you. You're gonna feel a lot of pain there when you have impingements.
Interesting. All right, so then we'll move right along to perhaps the frozen shoulder, you say. What is a frozen shoulder? Frozen shoulder, there we go.
So it's just kind of not even a fancy term, for when your shoulder gets stiff. So it just gets difficult to move. It just feels really tight and thick, and it's just really hard. Sometimes this can happen after shoulder surgery if you're not going through the physical therapy and having things done like you should. And so you're gonna feel just, pain, stiffness in your shoulder, and it's gonna be, you're just gonna have trouble reaching for things. It's just really gonna be tight to move. And oftentimes, I didn't mention this with the impingement, but if you feel you have a shoulder injury, I mean, of course, go in and talk to your doctor, but they can do x-rays, MRIs, ultrasounds, things like that to kind of see what's going on. And oftentimes, you just need to rest your shoulder, take pain medications, like over the counter, like Tylenol, ibuprofen, that's a great one for reducing inflammation, and get some exercises from physical therapy. So those things are all kind of the things you want to do with shoulder injuries.
And then lastly, there's the rotator cuff injuries, and this is the one most talked about when we think of a shoulder injury. So what is that, and is it going to require surgery?
And so this one is probably one of the more serious. The first 2, the frozen shoulder and the impingement, will heal typically on their own. Sometimes it will take months to heal. It's not something that just, oh, gee, I injured my shoulder.
So the shoulder's not very
next
resilient.
Week, yes, no. And as Devin will say, years. Some of these you might have for a lifetime. So a rotator cuff injury can either be something to do with the tendon, like there's a problem with the way the tendon moves, and that's what connects muscle to bone. Or you can actually have a tear in the muscle that can be caused by the shoulder injury, maybe from a fall, or you just move your shoulder too fast or with too much force. You're lifting something up, or playing baseball, swinging, throwing a ball, things like that. So where you're going to feel pain with a rotator cuff is typically on the top of your shoulder, down the outside of your shoulder. That typically will indicate that there's probably something going on with the rotator cuff. Some tears are so large, like you said, you will need surgery. So this one, you definitely want to go in. If you feel something pull, something tears, something, go in and talk to your doctor for sure. And anytime, and then you'll do the ice, the rest, the heat, medication, and physical therapy. But always make sure you're warming your shoulder up before, especially if you've had a shoulder injury in the past. You want to make sure you're warming up, taking a hot shower, hot bath. You can use hot towels on your shoulder. Start slowly with any exercise that you're doing. Don't just jump right into to playing baseball if you haven't really been warming up a little and stretching. And sometimes you can get cortisone injections too. That will help also with kind of reducing that inflammation. But regardless, anytime you have an injury, talk to your doctor. you know, they'll be the best ones.
Sound advice.
Yes.
Well, yeah, hopefully a lot of people take note as they're
Right.
kind of getting out there, getting more active this summer, or doing
They're
their
raking the
yard work.
yards, planting the gardens. You know, it's a busy time of season. People are eager to get out and about.
Even if you work construction and this is our hot
Yeah.
time, make sure you're stretching in the morning. You know, take the time to kind of warm up all your muscles and
Yeah.
you know, joints all over before you get out there and start work.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming in this morning. We
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Thank you. And coming up, we have what's trending, including what